Pastor Roy Gerhardt from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Well, it's a Tuesday for two, and this is where we look at relationship and how God calls us to live in relationship with Him and with each other. You know, there are different ways that we can motivate each other. And there are some of those that we prefer over others, gotta say. And one of the things that we can do is that we can be corrective. Sometimes we all have to be in this role where you've got to be the heavy, the one who brings the bad news that says, you're not doing what you need to do. And it can seem like that, right? And man, lots of times we don't want to be in that space because it can make us seem like we're just a negative person, only wanting to tell people where they're messing up and what they've done wrong and tell them to get straightened out. But we end up in that space, sometimes with our kids, with our spouse, with our best friend. And God too ends up in that space with us where He has to be the one who corrects us and redirects us into a better path in our life. That's often the job of the prophet, to come and to say, you guys are off course, you're messing up, and here are going to be consequences that are coming your way. And God has to be then the real heavy hand who delivers on consequences, who allows people to experience the results of their decisions. And that often becomes the key to redirecting us in our lives. But that's not the only way that we can motivate each other. Fortunately, there is inspiration. So that it's not just about correction and rebuke, but man, there is inspiration that allows us to see the big picture, that allows us to get excited about something that we can move forward toward. So it's not just about rejecting something and leaving something behind, it's about where we're headed. And in the prophet Zechariah, this is what God does in immense measure with His people. They've started to return back home to Jerusalem after the 70 years of exile in Babylon. And they have a task. Job one is to rebuild the temple so that as people are coming home, the focus would be on God, and the Lord would be able to lead them and bless them in their lives, that their future would be so much better than their past. But they've gotten distracted. They've gotten busy. They're building their own houses. They're raising their families. And you know what? Building the temple seems like a project that, well, we'll get to it later. And it keeps getting put off now for years. And so God starts to speak to them through the prophets. And some of that is hey, you got to get your life together. You got to turn this thing around. This is wrong. But in Zechariah, God looks to inspire them. Because Zechariah speaks to them not just about their immediate circumstances, but about His future promise of a Messiah, a Savior, a King who would lead them forward. He's allowing them and us to see that He is bigger and His plans are bigger than just the immediate circumstances that we're wrestling with. And that's huge because, look, then you know that God is bigger than the crisis that you're facing. That God has a grander plan than the problems that you're wrestling with. This is inspiration that allows you and I to step forward and say, God, I'm in. I want to follow you. I want to be a part of this. And not only for my own sake, but I want to be able to share this with others because I want to see your blessing passed on to generation after generation. So be inspired. Look up to the work that God is doing through Jesus. He has given us a gospel that is truly good news to live and to share. May God bless you today, and as you share His good news, may God make you a blessing wherever He takes you.